Hey beauties, it's Riri. If you're new here, I'm an over 40 lover of all things beauty, and I love showcasing indie brands here on my channel. If that sounds like your cup of tea or your double shot, please consider subscribing and giving the video a big thumbs up. It really does help me so much. And while you're here and after you subscribe, if you want to see more of me, and why wouldn't you, then tap the notification bell so you never miss an upload. We are diving into our palette declutter. This is going to be a long series because I have a lot of palettes and I really want to take my time per your request and swatch a lot more palettes, show them a little bit more up close. So we're going to do that. I actually don't know how many I have, but I'll pop a picture right here of my entire collection. All right, beauties, here is my palette collection. So each video, I think I'm going to do about 25-ish palettes. So this is going to be quite a few videos worth, just so that I can be a little bit more personable with it. And you guys want to see swatches. So I'm going to try to do it this way. You guys let me know if this works for you. Hopefully it does. So I have my first little batch of 25 over here. And I'm just going to go. We're just going to dive in. We got some makeup wipes over here. We have alcohol wipes. We have alcohol spray so we can sanitize things as we go, that we know we're going to declutter. Also, if you are not in my Facebook group, I have my Facebook group called Riri's Beauty Buys. If you want to join that, that is where I sell all of my products from. Anything that I got in PR, clearly I don't sell it because, well, that would be wrong to do. So if it's PR, I will lightly sanitize it and I will pass it along to friends and family, of course. So we're going to dive in. My first little teeny tiny stack right here in front of me is all of my Huda Beauty palettes. And I also have some Huda Beauty full-size palettes as well. Clearly, I love Huda Beauty. I love her color stories. The formula for me is perfection. I love it. They're quite long lasting on the lids as well. And if you guys have been here, then you know that is the most important thing to me. We can make something that doesn't blend the best, blend. We can come up with a cohesive, balanced look. But if it doesn't last on my lids, I don't want it. So we're diving in. First up is the Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions. I think they may be starting to discontinue these. I have a few of these ones right here. I love these. And these two right here, I actually just pulled out of my overnight bag because I use them so much and I love them. But I like that they are small, they're compact, and I like that there's literally a color story that anybody could use. Everybody has something they can pick from. Purples, reds, greens, whatever the case may be. So they are little 9-pan palettes. And I like that this one has a little bit of depth in it, but then I also like that there's some lightness in it. There's something I can use for an inner corner. I can build up a little bit of depth, but it's also kind of more grungy leaning, not kind of typical green, if that makes any sense. I do just want to swatch a couple of them for you. That is what they look like. I really think she has a stellar formula. The mattes blend out perfectly. They feel nice and smooth. Her shimmer formula is also great. And overall, I just like the color story. I love the aesthetic, so this is definitely a keeper. Next up is the Ruby Obsessions palette. This one right here, I only used a couple of times. But again, I like that it goes light to dark. I love that there's some depth. I feel like if you do have fair skin, you just go in with a fluffy brush, use a lighter hand, buff it out. But then if you have deeper skin, you could definitely still go in and they're quite punchy. I will again swatch maybe just 2 shades for you guys. You can see there. I mean, they are quite smooth, quite pigmented. I cannot say enough. I love her formula so much. And again, they're quite long lasting, which is incredibly important for somebody like me. I think though, I'm gonna go ahead and pass this one along. Next up is the Huda Beauty Warm Brown Obsessions. This one is one of the ones that I've used and used and used and used. Again, I like that there is some depth here. I really, really love the color story here. I love rich, warm tones. I love this palette. I'll swatch a few in this one as well. I love taking these little 9-pan palettes for travel. They're quite blendable. I love the matte formula. It kind of reminds me of the Natasha Denona, like the cream to matte formula. They're phenomenal. I really, really like these. Even though I really love this one and I've used it quite a bit, I do want to pass it along while it has like a lot of love left in it. And I have plenty of palettes that kind of have the same vibe to them. So we're going to go ahead and declutter this one as well. Next up is the Toffee Brown palette. I think this is one of my newer ones, this one and the gold one. This one I really, really love, especially for the yellow. I cannot get enough, you guys. they're stellar. They're stellar quality in my personal opinion. They give me everything I want and need in a palette. I'm obsessed. I love her quality. She can do no wrong. If you've never tried Huda Beauty, they feel incredible. They feel incredible. So this one I am definitely going to be keeping. It is newer to my collection. I love that pop of yellow in there. It just blends out beautifully with the darker tones. Love it. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. Next up is the Gold palette by Huda Beauty. I don't know why I'm saying Huda Beauty each time because they're all by Huda Beauty. This one is not my favorite in terms of really, other than this shade here, it definitely lacks depth. However, I love to take this one. Like I said, it was in my overnight bag. I love to take this one because it offers so many different It offers so many different shimmer shades, and that's why I like this one so much. But there are different formulas of shimmer shades in here. It's again perfection in my eyes. There's like There's like a topper formula, and then kind of the true opaque shimmer, if you will. Again, they wear well. They look beautiful. I think they're all like great companion palettes as well, but you can see this one right here is more of like a topper. This one has a little bit more translucence to it, and then this one is kind of full opacity. So I'm keeping this one, at least for now. If we keep too many, then y'all know how I do it. Sometimes I go back, I declutter a little bit more. I'm wiping my hands in between, very sorry. Next up is the Khaki Haze palette. This one I also really, really love. And I love that it's a little bit more grunge. I feel like it could have gone a little bit deeper as far as, I mean, I like that richness, that depth to build up in the outer corner. Again, really love it. I can't say it enough. Her formula is stellar in my opinion, you guys. I love her formula. I love this kind of like grungy olivey shade. And I know kind of most of her palettes have very similar shades to this. Like, you know, basically I've already swatched, what, 3 golds? That doesn't bother me. And I like that this one's a little bit more kind of varnished, if you will. Kind of more, let me hold it back here some. It's definitely more like vintagey, if that makes any sense. But love it. Definitely going to keep this one. I really like this one, and because I really like that one, so we're definitely going to keep that one. Next is the Nude Medium. And this one I think I only used one time, or maybe I just swatched it. This one I feel like is similar enough of a look and of a vibe, and it has darker kind of shimmer shades in it that I feel like I can declutter this because I kept these. So I am going to go ahead and declutter this. Next up is the Naughty Nude palette. Also another one that I really, really like, even though I've only used it one time. But that is another reason why I am decluttering, just so that I know what I have and I can be more consistent in using up what I do have. Again, I like the formula. The formula is one of my all-time favorites. I love in this palette specifically that it does go light to dark, and I love all the different shimmer shades that are in here. This shade Shameless right here and Irresistible. They're stunning. And again, they wear incredibly well, at least on my lids they do. So definitely holding on to that one. Next up is another Huda Beauty palette that even when I did it for you guys and like showcased it for you guys, I was like, I don't know why I bought this. This is not my vibe. I wasn't gonna get it. And then I saw people start to swatch it and do looks, and normally I don't do that. If I know I'm gonna try something for myself or review it here for you guys, I don't like to see reviews because I don't like to be swayed. But the more that I watched, I was like, dang it, man. I really want that palette. And I love it. And I've used it multiple times. But it is the Rose Quartz palette. First of all, the packaging. I do also want to speak to that too. Her packaging, you guys, is phenomenal quality. Quite weighted, quite heavy. It's obviously at a higher price point, but I feel like it's worth it. In my opinion, it's worth it. I think they kill it with packaging. It's just beautiful. And typically I wouldn't go with something quite so light. I'm also not super into like more purple tones or mauve tones and stuff like that, but there was just something about it. When people were swatching this and when people were doing looks with this, I was like, okay, honey. So I'm going to swatch Cosmic Love for you and Blissful. Beautiful. I mean, they're impactful, they're beautiful, long-lasting. I cannot say enough. And I know I've gone on and said the same things, but we're talking about the same brand, so it is what it is. Definitely keeping this one. Next up, we have the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. I've actually not used this yet, and one of my really good friends gifted this to me. So this one, I really, really love it. I think it's absolutely stunning. I love that there's a ton of warm tones, but then you have your beautiful pops of purple and stuff like that. There looks to be like a duochrome here and one here. I think as much as I'm appreciative of her giving this to me, if I have not used it yet, even though this is one of my all-time favorite formulas, I feel like we got enough. We got enough Huda Beauty. I have enough variation to create different looks that I want to create. So I think I might surprise her and just send this back to her because she's also a Huda Beauty stan. So I think I'm going to do that and just send it back to her. Next up is the Colourpop Sandstone palette. Sandstone? Sandstone. Why doesn't that sound right? Sandstone palettes. I got this, I don't even know when I got it. Colourpop did a sale and I picked it up because I thought the color store was stunning, and it is absolutely stunning. However, as you can see, I have not used it or touched it yet. I really like Colourpop's quality. I think they have a wonderful eyeshadow formula. Sometimes, in my opinion, they don't always blend the best, and the longevity for me is not always there. However, considering the price point and stuff like that, obviously I'm still a fan. I have quite a bit of Colourpop palettes, but we are going to go ahead and pass that along, especially because it's new and somebody else can appreciate it. Next up, we are going to go into the Natasha Denona My Dream palette, another one that I was not going to get, and then the Sephora sale got me. But I'm glad I have it and I love it. And Natasha Denona is another one that I really, really love. I did a couple of looks with you guys here, and I really like it. I honestly feel like Huda Beauty and the Natasha Denona, in my opinion, are fairly similar as far as like the texture and stuff of their different shimmer formulas and of their mattes. And they're both incredibly long lasting on the lids. I will say that Natasha Denona's formula is so smooth, you guys. The matte formula, it's like butter. It's fantastic. Definitely keeping this palette. I love this palette. I think it is a stunner. I think it's a home run. Again, packaging 10 out of 10. I think they're stunning quality. They're made well. I love them. Next up, we have the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. I also have not opened this one or touched this one yet either. So we'll look at it together. So that's what the outer packaging looks like. And I think, even though it does have a beautiful blend of warm tones and then cool tones, we know I love greens and grunge and golds. I have enough. I have enough. So we are also going to declutter this one. Next up, I'll go into this little stack right here. And if this gets too long, I'm very sorry. Thank you for your time. I value your time so much more than you even realize. Time is the most important thing to me because we are on borrowed time. But if it gets too long, y'all know what I say. Grab your tacos and your tequila, your milk and your cookies, your Doritos, your Cheetos, your Fritos, whatever is your pleasure, and sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Let's just have a good time together. Also, comment. Throw me them comments. Comment down below. Am I getting rid of stuff that you would have kept? Am I an idiot for getting rid of some of these? Y'all let me know. Next up is the Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Nouveau palette, which is actually on my lids today. I love this little palette. I love the packaging. I think it is a stunning and like quite unique color story. I do wish, which you guys would have seen not too long ago, my first impressions of this, I wish that the deepest shade in here was not a like shimmer shade or like a satiny type shade. I wish it had more depth. And I also wish that it had an inner corner highlight that I could use. Other than that though, beautiful. This is the second time that I've used this at the time you're seeing this, and I think it's great quality. I will say that the shimmers are a little bit looser in the pan, even with the shimmers. That doesn't bother me. I'm just noting it for you guys. But it's quite long lasting. I think it's a beautiful formula. With it being a little bit thinner of a formula, I never washed my swatches off. With it being a little bit more of a thinner formula, I do feel like sometimes you do have to build them up a little bit, but I don't mind that. I don't mind putting in a little bit of effort and a little bit of work to create an eyeshadow look as long as they stay on my lids. And it is 8:30ish at night, and I put this on at about 8 o'clock this morning. I'm just saying. So there are a couple of the shades. And I really love that this is like grunge, but then also like soft and pastel at the same time. I think it's stunning. I mean, I love the look that I created today, so definitely keeping that one. Next up is this Hipdot palette. This is the Zion palette. I'm pretty sure we got these in like a boxy charm or something like that. This very much reminds me of the Huda Desert Dusk palette that I just showcased. Again, I'm not as into like purples and pinks and stuff like that, even though they're beautiful and they look great on brown eyes. I know this. They're just not always palettes that I reach toward, and because this has a lot of love left to give, I think it might have been used one time. We can also pass this along, but I will swatch a couple for you guys. But you can see that it swatches beautifully and they feel quite creamy. And the level of opacity is there as well. And I'm sorry if the light gets messed up, you guys. Look, I film on a cell phone. I'm doing the best I can, okay? And of course it's dark. It's 8 something at night. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one. Even though I think it's beautiful, like the packaging feels nice and stuff like that. The quality is there, but I don't need it, you guys. Next up, one that I'm never gonna get rid of until it just goes bad. It's the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. If you know, you know. I've done probably 12 looks with this palette. It is phenomenal quality. One of the best palettes I've ever had, ever used, ever. I love it. I love, love, love her formula. I absolutely love that she has different formulas, that she has soft, like velvety mattes. She has beautiful shimmers. She has like her creamy matte shades. They're incredibly long lasting. Like this one right here is like one of the cream to mattes. They're stunning, you guys. Absolutely stunning. I cannot say enough. I cannot say enough. I'm telling you, they're fantastic, fantastic quality. I did get this, I think 2 years ago, maybe, through the Sephora sale, because again, it's pricey. This is one of the $130 palettes, or $125. So I definitely took advantage that year of the Sephora VIB sale. I can tell you though, if you've been on the fence and it is something that like you want to splurge and you want to spoil yourself on something, I have a ton of looks with this. If you just type in the Brutally Honest Beauty Metropolis palette, all my videos will come up. And I did a variation, a ton of different types of looks with this. Phenomenal, phenomenal quality. You'll not be disappointed. So we're definitely keeping this one. Next up, one of my all-time favorite palettes that I'm also never going to get rid of. And I have a backup that I'm never going to use. My That Time of Year palette by Gourmand Girls. It was also a collaboration with Xenia and Debuton. This is another one that I did, I think, about 14 looks with so far. I'm kind of ashamed to show you my palette, but it also shows how much I love it. Now, I know that we kind of marketed this and we came together with this last year and kind of coined it a holiday-ish inspired palette. But I have proven and showed with all the different looks that I did, you can go warm tone, you can go neutral, you can do blues and pinks and purples, you can do greens. This is a year-round palette, and I absolutely love it. I think that we came together beautifully with this palette. I love, love, love the topper shades like Icicle and Twinkling Lights, because they look incredible on top of anything that you want to put them on, and just the shifts in them, they're stunning. The mattes in here are beautiful. It's quite long lasting on the lids, which you guys know is very important to me. Yeah, I'm keeping this. It was an honor to work with Gourmand Girls and with Xenia and with Debuton. I do have a discount code. It is RIRI10. You can save 10%. And if you do use that code, I thank you so much. I also want to note, I'm just going to use it right now, just to show you guys. The shade Snow Angel in here, this white shade right here, I'm just going to show you what it does, okay? I'm going to pick up the tiniest little amount on my little pencil brush and pop this on my inner corner. Now keep in mind I have the lilac there, but y'all, stunning. Absolutely stunning. I love, love, love this palette so much. I'm very proud of it. And now the train's coming. Of course the train's coming. Moving on. Definitely keeping, love it, honored, obsessed. Next up is the very first palette that I ever got from Gourmand Girls. I think that somebody had tagged me in one of her posts, or it came up in my IG feed or something like that. And I saw this palette and I was like, that is the cutest thing ever. And I used the heck out of it. And of course I fell in love with her, and I've loved her since then. And I really love the brand. It is the Sugar Shop palette by Gourmand Girls. And this is what it looks like. I really love, I mean, if you know me and kind of know what I'm looking for, I do like that it goes from light to dark. Insane pigment with this, you guys. Like this black in here, and then also the shade Glazed, which used to be my like everyday inner corner highlight. That is the black, and then the shade Glazed. I think though, solely because it is getting older And because we have a white in here, I am going to declutter this solely for that reason, but I really, really love Gourmand Girls. You guys know that I really love supporting, as much as I like Huda Beauty and Natasha Denona, and I do like higher end products, I really love showcasing and supporting indie brands. And I think that she's just a phenomenal person too. And I love her so much, but we're going to go ahead and declutter that one. That kind of breaks my heart a little bit, but we don't need it. We do not need it. Speaking of indie brands, we have some Nomad Cosmetics palettes. And I have more than this. This was just the little pile that I grabbed. This one right here, and I'll let you know when we get to the different ones. If anything has just been gifted to me or something like that, I will let you know. These were gifted to me. Of everything I've shown, that's the only one that was gifted to me as far as like from a company. The Gourmand Girls I bought myself. I just want to know. I just like to note that, which I would never sell a PR palette. That would be dumb. The Fête de Provence, this one was gifted to me in PR. Again, phenomenal company, phenomenal branding, great packaging, feel really well made, and I really love their formula. I've literally only had basically one palette that I was like, nah, it's okay. All the other ones I really love. I did also showcase several looks with this palette as well. I really love that they set it up in a way that, especially if you're a newbie to makeup, if you're just not feeling inspired or whatever the case may be, you can go down each row and use the trio and basically create a look. I mean, how easy can you be? And I do love that there's a more cool tone side. I love that there is a more warm tone side. I really enjoyed this palette a whole lot. I think I'm gonna hold on to it. I really do like it. I'm also gonna kind of see what else I have though in my collection. That's why we do declutter videos, so we know what we have. So I will swatch a couple for you. They also have a really, really like kind of buttery, soft matte formula, which I think is really, really nice. They blend incredibly well. I think they have a fantastic formula. I really think that their formula is up there with more high-end formulas. And again, I've only had like one palette that I wasn't the biggest fan of. So I am going to keep this for now. All right, next up is the Cartagena Magica. I hope I'm saying that right. I also did purchase this one myself. That is what it looks like. And actually, now that I'm seeing this one, because it's more purpley, orangey, yellowy, I think I'm going to declutter this one because I like the Fête de Provence one better. But let me show it to you. So it is very much like kind of more pastel, going into like mid-tone, you know, yellow, pinky vibes. Very much the exact same type of formula. Some of these are more like topper shades as far as the shimmer shades. And again, their mattes are stellar. They're really, really good. And I do like that the formula it's a softer, more buttery, very smooth matte formula, and the staying power is there. I cannot say how important staying power is to me. Very, very important to me. And also, I'm not somebody that, you know, I will never collect every single one of whatever brand. That's not me. I'm not a collector in that regard. If I see something that I think is pretty, it speaks to me, it's a color story I know I'll use, then I'm gonna buy it, basically. Next up, this one was also gifted to me in PR. It is the Nomad Cosmetics Hudson Valley. I also recently showcased this palette and did a look with this one too, and it was one of my favorite looks, and you guys died over it. It was so stunning. I love this palette, and I love that it's rich and yummy, delicious and depthy, and it's all the things. Again, and I love how they do this, kind of overall, their aesthetic, being nomadic, being a traveler, but I always love that they kind of set it up where you can go down and do trios, and they typically have a cool tone side and a warm tone side, or at least a blend of the two. This one, to me, it screams fall. I could definitely use these in the summertime too. It screams fall. This is a Riri palette. I love it. It's phenomenal. It's one of my favorite palettes from them. I love it. I love this palette so much. There are a couple of the shades. I mean, that red, you guys, to be that intense of a red. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Beautiful. I love the theming. I love that there's thought and intention behind the collections and the palettes that they curate. They also give back and they donate back. I can't say enough. I cannot say enough about Nomad Cosmetics. I do also have a discount code with them. It is Riri10. That's not commission link or anything. That's not a commission code or anything like that. That's just for you guys. Phenomenal. We're not getting rid of this one. Next up is my Doodles by the Bunny and Empress Me Colors of the World palette. I do also have their Skin palette, which is my favorite palette of life, like of all time. That and my Metropolis palette. And by that time of the year, I have like my top 5 or top 10, but I love that palette so much. I've hit pan on a few shades. It's phenomenal. They're also an incredible woman-owned business. They're an indie brand. So that is what the outside looks like. And hello, look how gorgeous this is. And I'm not somebody that always uses kind of more bold, colorful palettes, but their Skin palette is very much kind of more neutral. I use it as blush, bronzer. I use it for highlight. I use it for my eyeshadow. I've used it in my brows. It's fantastic. Very, very pigmented, very, very long lasting quality. They blend well. They stay in place all day long. They wear well. They're incredible. They are incredible. They can do no wrong. And because I don't have very many kind of more colorful eyeshadow palettes, of course I'm keeping this. I love it. I love it a whole lot. This one ain't going anywhere. And spoiler alert, obviously, when I get to the Skin palette down the line, I'm keeping it. And then the last little palette, I think we did okay on this video, y'all. I was trying to keep them around 35 minutes. And right now, filming-wise, I'm at 35, 36. Look, I might get it under 30 minutes. We're going to try. Next up is my Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse. First of all, packaging, 10 out of 10. The brushes are phenomenal. The blush palette is phenomenal. The lip glosses are phenomenal. They have wonderful quality. The palette feels heavy. It feels weighted. It feels luxe. Here is what it looks like. For anybody's like, Riri, that's not even a Riri palette. I'm pretty sure I got this in like a subscription box because I would never buy this palette. But I'm not a cool tone person, typically speaking. I don't think I'm going to hold on to it for the sole reason. It's fantastic quality. I'll swatch a few for you. But just because I know I'm not going to get the use out of it that I should. Wonderful, wonderful quality. Everything that I have tried from Lunar Beauty, like his matte formula, is up there with Natasha Denona and stuff like that. It's quite smooth and quite buttery. Very easy to blend. And I mean, hello? Hello, do you? Like, I mean, you could see me from outer space. Beautiful. And the matte formula is just so soft, so buttery soft. Fantastic quality, you guys. And I would love to keep this. I feel like if he came out with a different color story, I would jump all over it. Like if he came out with like something grungy, something deep and warm and yummy and delicious, I'd be all on it. But I've only used it a couple times and I feel like somebody else could get better use out of it. But if you've been on the fence about Lunar Beauty, I say run, don't walk. Incredible. All right. So in this little section, we are getting rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're keeping
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm counting this as 1. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
I don't feel like that's bad. And I thought I had 25 palettes, not only 24. Anyways, how did you guys like me doing it in this way and kind of swatching stuff and kind of going a little bit more in depth? Hopefully you guys like this better. Hopefully, because I'm going to film all the rest of them this way. I love you, beauties. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. And of course, be your own best beautiful. Bye, beauties.